And we bring you the latest on the 4 missing siblings in Umuahia, how the parents are faring, and the police investigation. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober in Abuja. Joining me tonight from Lagos is Hingino John Adams. And this news is broadcast live via our website, nta.ng/live, and on all the social media handles displayed on the screen. The federal government says it will ensure a thorough investigation of the Nigerian Army drone misfire in Tudumbiri village in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the assurance while commiserating with the bereaved families and after a meeting with the Kaduna State government. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
An atmosphere of grief and sorrow following the unfortunate incident that occurred in Tudumbiri community. These are the survivors receiving medical attention at the Barau Dikko Teaching Hospital, Kaduna.
During periods of great national tragedy like this one, all hands must be.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, the hospital, directed the National Emergency Management Agency to mobilize and provide adequate support to the victims. He later proceeded to the Sir Kashim Ibrahim House to meet with these community and religious leaders following the unfortunate incident.
There is no gain dwelling too much on this incident that has happened. I am here because the president is deeply concerned. He was deeply touched by what happened. As the late delegate rightly said, let's not talk about the numbers. One life lost in cold blood is as gruesome as millions lost in a pogrom.
Kaduna State government thanked the federal government for the concern shown and promised to live up to expectation. Another good news for the community is the approval for the inauguration of the Placo initiative in the northwest to be sited in Tudumbiri.
Actually, our intent was to kick off the program in Sokoto. But in the light of recent developments, the president directed that the Placo initiative should be kick-started here in Kaduna State. And Tudumbiri will be the best beneficiary of that scheme.
Special prayers were offered for the reposed soul of the deceased.
All we think and ask of you. Thank you for hearing us. In Jesus' name we pray.
From Kaduna, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee on Army has commended the early launch of an investigation by authorities in relation to the drone misfire in Tudumbiri community in Kaduna State. This was emphasized when the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, met with lawmakers to defend the 2024 budget proposal. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
For those who lost their lives in Tudumbiri, we pray that God in His infinite mercy will continue to guide us as a nation and guide our military so that such incidences will not occur in future. Can we please rise up for 1 minute silence?
Expectedly, reference was made to the December 3rd incidents at this budget's defense. Though regrettable, it is to serve as a wake-up call in providing needed logistics and diligence to prevent such errors in the future. On the front burner is effective combat of security challenges through improved funding of the armed forces.
In terms of training, manpower and equipment, the money we are spending on our military is nothing comparable to what other countries, especially in Africa, are spending.
We will, within our limits, look at the budget critically.
The expansion of the army has continued to impact significantly on the human resources and lean finances available. This, therefore, calls for a review of the current envelope budgeting system, facilitates the speedy passage of the armed forces support trust fund bill.
The proposed capital components of the 2024 budget of the Nigerian Army is 107 billion naira. The inadequate budget for the feeding of inmates in custodial centers across Nigeria was the issue that featured as the budget defense session of the Nigerian Correctional Service with Committee on Interior.
What is the budget for feeding of each of these 81,000 in 2023?
750 naira per inmate per day.
750
naira per inmate per day.
We have even changed the name to correctional. They are meant to correct evil convicted people. The ordinary unknown Nigerian leave the prison completely emaciated, so can never live decent life again, even when they did not commit an offense.
Meanwhile, Senate Committee on Special Duties notes that Nigeria's anti-human trafficking agency needs more funding to stop the menace.
A lot of middle-aged Nigerian women, especially from the southwestern part of Nigeria, being trafficked mostly to Baghdad and Basra for forced labor and other slavery-like activities.
We have cases of baby factories in most states of the country.
The agency collaborates with other local and international bodies to fight these acts of criminality. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Nigerian government has again affirmed commitment to creating opportunities for the country's youth under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu to enable them contribute their quota to national development. This was at the annual National Migration Dialogue with the theme Leveraging Youth Migration Jakpa Movement for National Development. Ruth Agwele reports that the event was at the instance of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons in Abuja.
Nigeria has recently witnessed massive Japa migration or brain drain of highly skilled migrant workers, to the UK, US and Canada.
The dialogue is on how to flip the narrative and leverage on youth migration for national development, which is the theme for the annual National Migration Dialogue, a forum organized by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons that provides an opportunity for development partners to lend their voices on issues around migration and curb the growing trend of Jakpa syndrome. The advocacy is on how to proffer better solutions, especially for young people, to explore the dynamics of regular migration and stem the tide of irregular migration.
A significant outcome of our strategic positioning in the rapid governance structure is the strengthening of collaborative efforts with the international organizations, marking a paradigm shift towards global cooperation in addressing migration challenges.
In light of these developments, we recognize the need to create more awareness about the availability of opportunities in Germany's and other countries within ECOWAS or on the continent.
In ensuring that we change the narrative of migration to enhance regular pathways to migrants and that we provide a safe environment for regular migration to take place.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, who read President Bola Tinubu's message, acknowledged the vast potential of Nigerian youths while calling on them to take advantage of the different government's programs.
We've created other opportunities like the Empower and the Code Nigeria, which is supposed to train skilled graduate Nigerians and provide job opportunities for them.
As the dialogue continues, it is a call to action today to build a sustainable future for all. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions has dismissed a petition by a civil society organization, Center for Social Justice, Equity and Transparency, alleging that EFCC and DSS operatives attempted to forcefully remove former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele from lawful custody of the Nigeria Correctional Service in Kuje. Dismissing the petition, Chairman of the House Committee, Mike Ateba, says the matter is before a competent court of law and cannot be entertained by the House. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikpen tells us more.
The House Committee's decision to dismiss the petition alleging an attempt to abduct the former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele from custody was also hinged on the testimony of the Nigeria Correctional Service that Emefiele is still in custody, having been unable to fulfill his bail conditions.
As far as we are concerned, we are not aware of any alleged attempt to forcefully release Dr. Emefiele. Emefiele is still in our custody.
If the petitioners, they think they have a locus to make a case on behalf of Emefiele, the appropriate forum, sir, is to bring it to the attention of the court or other lawful means by which the court can call the errant law enforcement agencies to order.
This matter is in court. We can't forge ahead with this matter because it's sub judice for us. This matter is hereby dismissed from this committee.
Perhaps they didn't bother to go through our petition. Our petition has nothing to do with the pendency of the suit before Godwin Emefiele.
At its inaugural sitting, the House Committee on Public Sector and Institutional Reforms says it will promote the enactment of laws that will grant independence to public institutions for effective service delivery.
The key institutions of government such as Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Judiciary, Nigerian Correctional Service, the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, among other contemporary and contextual needs, will be examined with a view to reform where needed.
Meanwhile, former lawmakers in the aborted Third Republic have appealed to President Tinubu and the leadership of the 10th National Assembly to facilitate the payment of salaries and allowances owed them 31 years ago. This was when they visited one of their own, Fred Agbedi, now re-elected into the 10th Assembly. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The National Judicial Council has recommended the compulsory retirement of Justice Sakaria Uyejide Falola of Osun State High Court from the bench with immediate effect. The recommendation was sequel to the findings of an investigation committee in a petition written against the judicial officer by Dakpo Kolakpo Uluwu and Polaris Bank for granting a garnishee order absolute against the bank to the tune of over 283 million naira in a questionable and strange manner. The committee found Justice Sakaria Uyejide Falola in breach of proper conduct by entertaining the suit when there was no evidence of a judgment of the Kwara State High Court before him. Neither was there a certificate of registration of same in Osun State to confer jurisdiction on him. The NJC also considered the reports of other investigation committees and dismissed the petitions written against the Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Ekaite Ubut, Justice Benson Aya of the High Court in Abia State, Justice Abubakar of the Federal High Court, as well as Justice Opufa Ben White and Augusta Uche Kechuku of the High Court of Rivers State, for being unmeritorious and the withdrawal of the petition by the petitioners. The NJC equally declined the request of Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State, requesting its permission to swear in the next most senior judge in the state in acting capacity, following allegations leveled against the state chief judge, Justice Uju, and the resolution of the State House of Assembly to suspend him. The council affirmed Justice Uju as the recognized chief judge of Osun State and would not work on the resolution of a State House of Assembly, as it is the only body constitutionally empowered to investigate judicial officers and recommend same for any action to the governor. We'll take a short break. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of the Governing Council and Management Team of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB. It includes the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lokubiri as chairman, and Engineer Felix Omashola Ogbe as Executive Secretary. Others named members are Orishe Miwa Eyeson, EVP Upstream, NNPCL, Gbenga Komolafe, CEO, NUPRC, Bekiare Debo, Augusta Warrens, Nicholas Odinowe, Raphael Samuel, Sadiq Abubakar, and Olorundari Sunday Thomas. The appointees are to discharge their duties with a patriotic resolve to significantly enhance indigenous industry participation in the energy sector as part of the Renewed Hope Agenda's mandate to achieve the goal of 70% indigenous content and participation in the nation's energy industry. We go to Umuahia in Abia State, where the parents of 4 missing siblings are literally reeling from despondency following the abduction of their children 10 days ago by an unknown tricyclist hired to take them to school. Ifeoma Ndukole has an update on this developing story.
Early morning call on the family of Mr. and Mrs. Chimobi Aga, the parents of the 4 children who disappeared recently in Umuahia, reveal a moody atmosphere as sympathizers continue to troop in. Yet, there is still no news of the whereabouts of these children. 10 days since the disappearance of 4 siblings on their way to school, with no news on how to trace them, the parents are still traumatized.
I'm not feeling well. My life is miserable. I can't sleep. I can't eat, neither to drink water. When I came to my house to look around, I couldn't see my key. I feel that this is the end of my life.
I don't cook again. Who am I cooking for? The business that I'm doing, I'm no more doing it. Even my husband too is no more going to work. Nobody to cook for. Even for us to eat, it's very hard for us. We plead you people to help us.
The siblings aged 7, 4 and 2 were last seen on Monday 27th November after they boarded an unknown tricycle to school. In Umuahia, Ifeoma Ndukole, NTA News.
The saying that behind every successful man is a woman was reinforced at the 2023 Police Officers' Wives Association Convention in Abuja. In the words of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Agbetokun, quote, "Your role in providing stability, love, care and understanding to our officers cannot be quantified," end quote. Francis Form will tell us more about it.
It is a gathering of police officers' wives in Nigeria to celebrate their contributions to the police families and the force in general. This forum provides an opportunity for POA to further plan for improved welfare for members, police families, and the families of their fallen heroes.
Today, let us pause to reflect on the depth of this sisterhood that has carried us through challenges and celebrated our triumph.
Most at times, our husbands or your husbands are not nearby. They have gone far away to serve the nation. And for that reason, we appreciate you.
Our commitment is one born out of a genuine love and respect we have for the police force. We intend to provide funding towards widows and families of the police officers' wives who have lost their lives in active duty.
Inspector General of Police in a message applauded POA for their unwavering support and sacrifices.
Your steadfastness enables our officers to carry out their duties with courage and dedication, knowing that they have a solid foundation of support to rely on in you.
Minister of State Police Affairs and Chairman of Police Service Commission assured POA of their support and commitment to the association. Renewing the face of hope and sisterhood in POA, inspiring progress together is the theme for this year's convention. Francis from NTA News.
The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ACON, is partnering with players in the marketing communication sector and scholars to evolve strategies for national growth and development. To this end, a 3-day National Advertising Conference 2023 was convened in Abuja. Musa Abubakar completes the report.
is the third edition of the National Advertising Conference, and major players in the marketing communication profession have convened here to converse on repositioning the sector for economic development. With the theme Marketing Communications as Enabler for National Transformation, the conversation this year is on assessing the size of the advertising industry, its contribution to gross domestic product, and overall impact on the economy.
One of the cardinal objectives of this conference is to evolve policies, articulate options, and identify strategies for addressing national issues, particularly those that border on our industry and the Nigerian economy at large.
This is as federal government began putting the right policies and programs in place to achieve the $1 trillion economy.
How can we mobilize Nigerians in an inspiring and hopeful fashion? How can we awaken people to their rights and responsibilities as citizens of Nigeria? You, as marketing communication professionals, have credible answers to these questions and are thus well positioned to serve as catalyst of Nigeria's social and economic transformation.
Some economic indicators are beginning to move in the right direction. For example, Nigeria now records a trade surplus. In other words, our exports is now more than our imports. Just imagine sustaining that. Your currency will stabilize.
Far-reaching resolutions and recommendations are expected at the end of the 3-day session as the body embrace perspective on new trends and challenges that will shape the profession and business of marketing communications in Nigeria and beyond. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The need for the public, especially traders and businessmen, to ensure their funds are saved in licensed banks to avoid the risks of fire, theft and armed robbery has again been stressed. This forms part of activities of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation Special Day at the 44th Kano International Trade Fair. Mohammed Ibrahim reports.
Kano International Trade Fair provides a platform to corporate organizations to showcase their services to customers and clients. For Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, it is an opportunity to intimate customers on their mission towards protecting them to ensure economic stability in the country. Being at the heart of business activities in northern Nigeria, the fair serves as an opportunity to raise awareness about the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation's mandate.
To really tell depositors how important is it for them to save money, and when they even save it, they can be sure that with NDIC, the best bank that is under the insurance of NDIC, their money is safe.
The corporation also used the platform to declare full liquidation dividends for depositors of 20 closed banks, thereby inviting relevant stakeholders for verification and payment of their deposits.
The corporation has declared full 100% liquidation dividend in the amount of 16.18 billion for depositors of 20 closed banks to come forward for verification and payment of their deposits that are in excess of guaranteed sum.
Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation also promised continued collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure effective supervision of banks and adherence to prudential guidelines and the Code of Corporate Governance of Banks that safeguard the safety and stability of the Nigerian banking system. In Kano, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
Gender mainstreaming in policymaking and leadership positions was the major thrust of the International Women Power Conference and Awards 2023 in Abuja. The event was organized by Goodwill Ambassador Event Agency. Deborah Balagbogo reports.
The journey of dialogue, collaborating and celebration hinged on the theme Advancing the Course for Women Leadership was the reason for the gathering.
We are trying to make sure we have
the International Women Power Conference and Awards 2023 is about sharing insights, stories of resilience, and to re-strategize towards breaking barriers that hinder women from reaching their full leadership potentials.
We have the knowledge. If we have that knowledge, put us in that leadership role so that we can perform. do exactly what we were created to do.
But you can go in there. It's not about money sometimes, really. It's about who you are on the inside of you. Voice out, keep saying it, keep doing it. And you come to pass.
We want to champion the fight against insecurity. It should start with the protection of the chastity, dignity, and credibility of women.
We never should stop. Never put our dreams or our ambitions aside. Never take second place. You know, if we have a dream or a goal, we need to fight for that dream.
Award presentations to personalities including the Director General of the NTA, Abdulhamid Dembos, formed part of the event. In Abuja, Deborah Balagobo, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Television Authority has continued to receive accolades, the confirmation of the efforts of the organization to serve the information and communication needs of the viewer through content that drives development and the promotion of culture and national cohesion. Omenka Amarachuku reports that the latest is coming from the Malabu district of Abia State, who were at the NTA to felicitate with their son, the DG of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, on his recent appointment as Director General of the NTA and Chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON.
This presentation by the district head of Malabu, Adamawa State, Aliu Hamawa Malabu, is a demonstration of the confidence reposed in the ability of the Director General of Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, to navigate the broadcast giant NTA through the path of professionalism and excellence in public service delivery. His recent appointment as the Chairman, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, the traditional leader, describes as a call for more responsibility.
We are proud of you to be appointed as the DG NTA, as well as the BON Chairman.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, appreciates his traditional father and other guests for the honor done on him.
I want to say that having known fully well those responsibilities and also the kind of expectations that are out there, one is not undoubtedly going to give all one has at his best to make sure that the name of the family, Malabu, and of course Adamawa and Nigeria is taken to the higher level.
In Abuja, Umeka Mrachuku, NTA News.
And time now to link up with Hingino John Adams in Lagos for more on Network News. Hingino.
Thank you, Cyril. Education of the girl child and women empowerment have been identified as vital tools in reducing and eradicating abuses often experienced by women and the girl child in the society. This was re-echoed at the opening of the 2023 Law Week by International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Badagry branch in Lagos. Diana Ajale reports that the program provided an opportunity for female lawyers and other stakeholders to add their voices on the global ongoing 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in Nigeria.
From sexual assault, gender-based violence, lack of access to quality education to discrimination at workplace, the challenges of womanhood are visible.
When the mindset of the society towards the woman and the girl child is the same, is at par with how they view the men and the boy child, then the woman will become a better empowered person.
Let us keep all our differences aside, work together with the renewed determination after this law week to change the narrative for women and children.
This sensitization workshop calls for a collective action by all stakeholders on the perennial issues bothering women and the girl child in the society.
It recognizes that empowerment is not just about personal transformation,
but a catalyst for broader societal change.
When women and girls are empowered, the benefits extend beyond individual lives to impact families, communities, and ultimately the entire world.
The program had breakout session where panelists highlighted various measures capable of reducing the issue of rape, domestic violence, among others.
Peer pressure from the dead on the living, which is the major factor, the number one factor impeding the empowerment of the woman or the girl child.
The International Law Week coincided with the 16 days activism to raise issues bordering women and the girl child. The theme of the program is Empower a Woman, Empower a Girl Child, Empower the World. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has concluded exercise Clean Sweep at the site of the 2002 Ikeja cantonment bomb blast with a promise to make productive use of the land. Olumide Oguntola reports that the Army barracks is now certified free of unexploded ordnance.
Before now, the site of the 2022 Ikeja bomb blast was a no-go area due to leftover of unexploded ordnance after the deadly incident. The narrative has changed with the successful conclusion of Exercise Clean Sweep, an initiative of the Nigerian Army, which has now made the area safe.
The officers and soldiers have not...
Coordinator of the exercise, Colonel Abdulrazak Kazim, explained to journalists that 2,055 ordinances were recovered and disposed during the exercise, which lasted for 57 days. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Cyril, represented, confirmed that the Nigerian Army cantonment, Ikeja, is now free of unexploded ordnance and declared the area safe.
We deployed the modern technology available in the market today in this operation. We had the Husky counter-IED vehicles that we brought all the way from Makurdi, Benue State. The EOD experts and ammunition technical officers from both the Nigerian Army engineers and the ordnance corps were brought from all over the country to Ikeja cantonment and have been engaged in this exercise for the past 2 weeks.
Now that the site of the 2002 Nigerian Army Ikeja bomb blast is free of unexploded ordnance, what's next for the Nigerian Army as regards the productive use of this site?
I foresee the Army tomorrow, in line with their priority. It could be office or residential accommodation, it could be sporting facilities. It may also include a cenotype as a memorial for that unfortunate incident being erected in that site tomorrow.
While commending President Bola Tinubu for approving the exercise, the Nigerian Television Authority was also recognized for prompt and adequate reportage of the event. In Lagos, Olumide Oguntola, NTA News.
That's it from here. The news will be back after this break.
We're back here in Abuja now. Now, with just 5 more days to the end of the ongoing COP28 climate conference in Dubai, conversations among stakeholders are likely to consolidate on opportunities and activities aiming at meeting some of the global climate change objectives. Charles Alpha is a man on the ground and has had his hands full since the opening of talks at the conference. Charles, thanks for joining us tonight.
Right, thank you very much, Cyril.
Right. I should ask you about the current position of COP28 on the loss and damage fund, especially with the increasing clamor by vulnerable countries, even here in Africa, for some reparation to be paid over ensuing damages wreaked by escalating extreme weather conditions, which are driven by industrial activities by Western countries and their high carbon emissions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I like the way you took it from there. The thing is, it's the 7th day in COP. Right now, like you rightly said, we have 5 more days to go. And since the beginning of COP28 here in Dubai, it's been all about negotiation, and most importantly, it's just not about nothing else but the loss and damage which you mentioned. And the loss and damage is one of the vital commitments at COP, and for whatever reason that was reached. It's why we see right now that at COP28, even right there, back there in Egypt, at COP27, it was agreed that a certain amount of funds should be set aside, for countries that are worst hit by climate change. And it was not surprised that at COP28, operationalization of this loss and damage fund was initiated. It was formally adopted to enable, transfer of finances to countries that are worst hit. And so we begin to see that at COP28 right now, leaders are beginning to make new commitments, to climate change, climate fund, loss and damage fund. The United Arab Emirates, for instance, the host country of COP28, has contributed $100 million. Germany has also contributed $100 million. France and Italy have jointly contributed $108 million. And civil society organizations are here protesting that this amount is just not enough for the entire African countries. And the argument here is that African countries have done nothing to contribute to world climate crisis. And yet they're finding it difficult to access this loss and damage fund. They're finding it difficult. They are the one who was hit. They are contributing. They have contributed, let me say, less than 5% to global crisis. And what we are seeing here is simply not just enough. And that is what is happening. There are protests everywhere and here by civil society organizations for countries to be able to get all of that done. I just needed to listen to what the Minister of Paralapi had to say passionately about this loss and damage fund for Nigeria and the rest of Africa. Take a listen.
Okay.
Erosion, desertification, the issue of flood and all that. So he said, particularly he emphasized this issue of the vote for loss and damage, which I think is very critical. So all of us should try as much as possible to key into that loss and damage, where there is about 100 billion in that. So we need to key into that to make sure that we get something out.
Charles Alpha, Bayan in Dubai, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you.
Right, thank you for having me, Cyril.
Back home here, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 4 new members of the National Council on Privatisation, NCP, representing the private sector in the council. A statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, indicates that Oluwale Oshi is representing Southwest, Mohammed Mustafa Bintubi, Northeast, Olaiwala Yahaya, North Central, and Akwa Efionokun representing South-South. The President charged the new members of the Council to bring the best of their private sector experience to bear in ensuring that Nigerians receive the greatest value and impact from investments that were made on their behalf. Although the transatlantic slave trade ended centuries ago, modern forms of slavery have persisted around the world, raising concerns about stakeholders. And as Nigeria marks International Day of Remembrance of Slave Trade and its abolition, Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy is using the opportunity to advocate measures to end modern slavery in Nigeria. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
NAPTIP has been collaborating with local and international organizations in the fight against human trafficking in Nigeria.
The Director of Research.
In a bid to consolidate on the gains recorded, the agency is partnering Innovation for Poverty Action in Nigeria to implement a project for increased awareness and psychosocial support for victims and promotion of evidence-based as well as fact-finding anti-trafficking efforts in the country.
This project also incorporates survivor-informed and victim-centered approaches into programs by establishing an embedded evidence lab, a permanent structure which equips NAPTIP to develop and deliver more effective evidence-based programs and policies.
IPA is working with NAPTIP to develop and implement rigorous research and to translate new evidence into improved programs and policies.
We're very proud to partner with NAPTIP and other Nigerian agencies to combat trafficking in persons. And I'm, again, glad to be here today to launch this project.
The project is to, among others, enhance understanding, develop innovative strategies, as well as ensure full eradication of trafficking in persons in the country. In Abuja, Amina Baba Suleiman, NTA News.
A sincere apologies. That actually was Amina Baba Suleiman reporting on a project for combating human trafficking in Nigeria, which was formally launched in Abuja by NAPTIP. The All Progressives Congress has urged opposition parties who are unsatisfied with the outcome of the off-cycle elections to approach the courts for redress and stop upbraiding the judiciary and disrupting the public peace. The party was speaking during a media briefing on the political situation created by unsuspecting political rivals in Kogi State. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The governing All Progressives Congress condemned the uncivilized approach to legal issues and deliberate orchestration of violence in Kogi State and called for restraint.
The election that happened in Kogi is not the end of the world. There will be other elections in the future. But we cannot, as a people, deny ourselves the opportunity to continue to explore and build on our democracy. Yes, it cannot be flawless, and it is not flawless.
The party says elections are conducted in states where the governing party lost but had never resorted to undermining INEC or the law. The National Publicity Secretary of APC, Felix Moka, urged opposition party to learn the ropes of democratic values from the governing party for the growth of constitutional democracy.
Follow democratic process. If you choose to go to court, it's your freedom to go to court. Do so and allow your opponents too to also express themselves legally within the context of the case you brought. Cases are determined on the basis of evidence and the law.
Felix Moka condemned utterances of chieftains of the PDP in Delta State against the judiciary and advised opposition parties to exercise decorum and decency in handling outcome of elections. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
That concludes Network News tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Cyril Stober. Good night.